Hi boys and girls, today we're going to be creating a class book. You can see here that I have lots of examples of ones I've done with different grades. And this is going to be kind of like a legacy project for you. So your target audience is going to be kindergarten or first grade. So think about topics that would be appropriate for them. Counting, ABCs, just a book about kindness. Okay, and we are going to be voting on what subject you are going to make yours on. So I want you to be thinking about what kind of a book we as a class are going to make. So how-to books, we could teach them how to do something. Each person would have a part in that, or each page could be about how to do something. These are just some ideas of things that we could do. And I want you to brainstorm at your table what you think would be a good topic for a book. And then we're going to vote on that. And I'll pause the video for a moment here while we do that. Okay, I am back, and I want to take a moment to talk to you about your page that you're going to be doing. So each person's going to be doing a page similar to this. You will have a picture area and an area to write the words because we are going to be both the author and illustrator of this book. So author meaning words, illustrator, picture, okay? And I have some examples here that I want you to think about. So when you're creating your picture, remember to use the whole space. Make your characters as big as you can to still convey your meaning. So if you were writing a picture about somebody reading a book, we don't want them to be super small and tiny in the picture. You make them as big as you can and still fit them into your space, okay? Also, you'll notice that this author illustrator colored in the entire picture. They didn't leave anything blank in the background. That bus is important, right? It's the background of the picture. In this one, the grandma's out in a chair. You don't want to just leave this all white back here. You want to have the grass and the trees and the sky to show us where she's at. So we need the setting. Another thing was this one I thought was a good example because it does have the little square boxes, and they did make their characters as big as they could to get the message across, but also included background details. That's important. Okay, how can you convey your message of whatever it is you're trying to say? This is actually a very good example because they didn't necessarily show all of her, right? They didn't show the mom. She's facing the other way. But you can see they're all there. They're hugging. Okay. Rain. So this one shows what it's like that day. So the weather in your picture could be important. This one doesn't have square boxes, but I just love the illustrations in this one and how they capture the feeling on everyone's face. So think about facial expressions because that can tell us a lot. Like the oh, or of wonder and awe and surprise, right? A lot of surprised faces in here, happy faces. Okay. All right, enough about that. Let me show you a few examples of what I mean by this. So do you see in this picture, this artist, illustrator, they made their picture way too small, right? All of the characters, they did label them so we know who's who, which is a nice little touch, but they're tiny. And did they color in the background? No. And also spelling is really important. This is a book about I can be kind, and I definitely had these words up on the board, and this person said I can be, and they spelled kind, C-I-N-E-D, and making does not have an E, okay? So if you need the spelling of a word, we're going to have a word bank on the board. All you have to do is let me know what the word is, and I'll write it on the board for you, because it's very important when you're publishing a book to have correct spelling, okay? Another thing, and you can see this one, a little bit bigger. Their characters are bigger. I think they're conveying their message really good. Could they have made them even bigger and still had the same? Yeah, but they didn't color in the background, did they? They started, they got the grass. Their words, though, I like the spacing in between, and I want you to think about this. When you're writing yours, remember this is for a kindergarten, first grade audience, so you want to have your words big enough they can read them, and spaces, like a finger space between each word. So before you do the Sharpie over your pencil writing, I want you to check your spacing, and maybe have somebody else check the spelling. Have a couple people at your table double check it to see if it looks right, or have Mrs. Walker look at it. Okay? Speech bubbles are a really cool way to get your point across too, so keep that in mind. Here's one where the person, their Sharpie was really thick, right? And I'm actually not sure they actually used a Sharpie. I think this was a regular marker. If you're using a regular marker, do you see how big the marker kind of spreads out, doesn't it? So you want to be careful that you don't write your letters too close together. I can't even tell what this word is unless I think about the meaning of the sentence, and it's the word around, but the R, the O, and the U are all mushed together like one weird letter. So keep that in mind. And I thought this one was just a really great example because they got the emotion. They didn't put it on their faces, but they put the feeling at the side, which is kind of creative. Okay. So that is our task for today, is to get our pictures drawn, colored, the words at least penciled in, our thoughts penciled in, and create ourselves a really cool class book.